Hello everybody, welcome back to the part 2 of the Find the Marble game video. Recall we are building this game where we have three cups and one marble. Marble goes under the cup and then it's shuffled. The cups are shuffled and you got to tell where the marble was, right? So we built the first part. Uh, we were basically until a point where we had exactly one sprite which would which would kind of move around. So we've got all the movement for this one sprite. Notice it's kind of moving by itself. In this part of the video, we are going to complete this game. We are going to introduce more sprites. Also, we are going to put code for checking whether this game is over or not, and all of that, right? So it's kind of culminating this right now. The first thing we are going to do here is that after this movement is complete, we want the user to get a message that check, click on the cup that you think has the marble, right? So now to do so, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use a broadcast, right? So notice that all the shuffling happens from this marble sprite. So we have got these three switches. It repeats many times. After that, I will issue a broadcast statement called, I'll call this, let's say a new message here. I'll call it display message. And what I want to do is to, create a sprite, which is basically the message sprite, right? So I will go and create one sprite. Let's call it message. And I just want to tell the user that, look, now the shuffling is over. You got to tell me where you think the marble is, right? And the costume for this will be very simple. So I'll say click on the cup that has the marble, right? That you think has the marble, right? So click on the cup that has the marble. Maybe I can just adjust this a little bit to the center somewhere here, right? So I think this is fine. Click, maybe this is okay. I can just move it somewhere here. Probably make it a little bit bigger so it comes here. Oops. So I select this. I move this a little bit here. So click on the, I think that's not shown. Click on the cup that has the marble, that you think has the marble, right? So you can just adjust it a little bit. All right. Now this message obviously should not be displayed from the very beginning. So I'll say when the flag is clicked, hide this. So this message is hidden in the beginning. However, when I receive display message, now display message itself comes after all the shuffling is over, right? So once again, we are using broadcast quite powerfully. So I'll say when I receive display message, then show this message, right? So show this message, and immediately I create a new broadcast which I call check winner, right? So I'll say events, I'll say broadcast, and I'll call it, say, a new message called check winner, which means that I'm going to see if I've won or lost, right? Now, how does that happen? Well, I expect the user to click on the cup, and from there I have to figure out if I have won or not, right? Now, here I've just received, showed, and immediately broadcast, but I could do a little bit more animation here if you wanted to. For example, I could, make this text appear in some slightly more fascinating manner, probably, and hence a broadcast helps. So separating these two helps, right? So now what happens when I receive check winner, right? So question is, how do you determine when somebody is a winner or not, right? Now in this case, it's actually quite simple, because remember, the marble is always under cup number one, right? And that's all we have got here, right? So I can go here to cup number one, and I can say that, okay, look, when I receive check winner, then all I have to do is to figure out if the user has clicked me or not, right? Until the user doesn't click me, then I just stay put, right? I don't do anything. So I can say I can use wait until, which is basically do nothing until the condition inside this comes true. And the condition that I'm talking about is a condition which we have seen before in the spot the hero game, which is basically saying that when I'm clicked, right? And how do I figure that out? Well, go to sensing block and I'll say touching mouse pointer and mouse down, right? So if that happens, basically when I receive check winner, wait until touching mouse pointer and mouse down. So until this condition happens, do nothing. If it happens, then do something. That's the whole way of looking at this, right? Now this condition looks intimidating. Why do you want to do touching mouse pointer and mouse down? It's exactly the same as what we have done in the spot the hero game, which is basically saying that wait until this sprite is clicked, right? So if this sprite is clicked, fantastic. It means that I've answered it correctly, and hence I can broadcast a message called, let's say, correct, right? So I'll broadcast a new message called correct, and I know this is correct because by construction in this game, the marble is always going with cup number one. Now, cup number one itself is moving. By implication, marble is moving. So if at the end of the shuffle, the user clicks cup number one, it means that the user has got it correct and the user has basically guessed correctly, right? Now, what happens when answer is correctly guessed? Well, first thing first, this cup itself should hide, this message should hide, right? So we should immediately add those conditions. So I'll say when, when I receive correct, then I will hide. So, this cup itself will hide, right? And also for the message, I can go and write when I receive, basically, I'll go to events. When I receive correct, then I should indeed hide, right? So if this is the case, I should hide. Right now, we can just check this right now. So, notice that there's only one sprite. Now it's going to go through all this shuffle. As it's going through this, no matter where this goes, we know it's only one of them, so it has to be, we don't have to track it, we know this as the marble, right? So if I do click this, notice they both disappear, right? Now you might wonder at this point of time, why did I do this complicated logic and not when I click that sprite, right? When that sprite is clicked? The reason really is that we do not want this condition to be checked until the shuffling is over, right? So we do not want the user to be checking for marble much before the shuffling is over, and that's where broadcasts have been used. Notice how we have used broadcast to sequence the entire program. Only after the shuffling is over that this display message comes. Only after display message comes, we get a check winner, which is again sequenced, and only after all that we check for this condition. That's why this is under a wait until is under receive check winner. And once I do that, I broadcast correct. So that's the reason I do not use when I sprite click, when the sprite is clicked. Okay. Now coming back to the game again, when I win, when I've answered correctly, I want to congratulate the user. So for that purpose, I create a backdrop. I'll duplicate this thing and I'll create a new backdrop where I'll just write, say, well done. Right now, you could also do this with the sprite, but I choose to do it with the backdrop. It's it's a choice anyway, right? So I'll make this a little bit larger and I'll again center this. So I'll tell the user well done. Maybe I can draw a little bit of say a smiley kind of thing. It looks good. Okay, so I'll tell user well done. If I answer this correctly, so I should center this once again. Okay, sorry. Okay. So now I'll tell user well done. And how do I do that? Well, I can just go here to the marble. Actually, I can do it from another sprite as well, but I'll do it from the marble. I'll say when I receive correct. So that means the answer has been answered correctly. So I will switch backdrop to backdrop 2. I will also play some music because it feels nice. So I will add a sound here, right? In this, I've chosen a sound called connect. It's quite nice. You can actually listen to it. Oh, sorry, connect, which is this. So it's quite nice here. So I can choose this, so if I answered correctly, I'll say play sound connect until done. And then I can stop everything, right? So this will kind of play this, music for until it's done, and then it'll stop everything, right? Now, the reason I choose play sound until done, even though this is an event sound, is because this is really at the end, right? So there's nothing that's kind of holding back because of this, right? So I just play the sound, and after that, the program gets over, all right? So now, if I do this and if I look at this whole program, I just have to make one change, that when the game first starts, right? When the flag is clicked, I should switch backdrop to backdrop. Actually, I've already done that. So I should switch backdrop to backdrop 1 so that the game starts in the correct backdrop, right? If I miss that, then I will have a problem, right? So if I did this, right? Now notice, so if I click on the cup that is a marble, the moment I click, I get that sound and comes well done, because obviously by construction, my answer is right now correct. There's only one cup and that cup has the marble, right? Now, we are going to extend this further and it's actually quite simple. I'm going to duplicate the cup code, right? Now, remember, by duplicating, not only do we duplicate the costume, but we in fact duplicate all the code that cup 1 had, right? And that's the beauty, because cup 1 is already very, very complete in terms of the code, right? So all we have to do is to, one, fix that cup 1 is going on the left side, but cup 2, we want it to come in the middle, right? So to do that, I will set X to 0. In the beginning, remember, cup 2 must come from top, and then it must also go to the 0, 0, right? 0, 0 is the middle, remember? So I wanted to go there. More importantly, or well, equally importantly, when I receive check winner and I am clicked, right? Notice this code is for cup 2, right? So if cup 2 is clicked, this thing will mean that cup 2 has been clicked, then it cannot be correct answer, because remember the correct answer is cup 1, right? Marble is always under cup 1, right? So this must be a new message called incorrect, right? So, oh, sorry, incorrect. So when, okay, made a mistake here, right? So incorrect. Now, when incorrect happens, or whether incorrect happens or correct happens, the cup should hide anyway, right? So which means I can duplicate this and I can say when I receive incorrect, hide. Likewise for the message, I whether I receive correct or incorrect, I should hide, right? But when it comes to the marble, I will say when I receive incorrect, right? So I again duplicate this part of the code. So when I receive incorrect, so I will create another backdrop, let's say here, right? I'll go here and I'll duplicate this part and I'll say this time I'll say, perhaps I can say pathetic, right? Pathetic, and with the this sad face or whatever, sad emoticon, right? So I say pathetic, and I will go here and tell marble to switch backdrop to backdrop 3, and this time I'll play a little bit more the sad sounding sound, which is called boing, and I'll stop. Right now, one thing I just want to highlight again, that notice in cup 1 when I click, if I click cup 1, basically I know I'm correct. On the other hand, if I click cup 2, which is this code cup 2, if I click this, basically on the same condition check winner, if I go and click cup 2, I know I'm wrong. That's why I broadcast incorrect, right? And in fact, if I see this now, so I've got two cups now, right? So I'm just following cup number 2. I want to play. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is most likely cup 2, and it says pathetic. Okay, so I missed something here, which is that cup 1 also should hide on incorrect, right? So I will go and duplicate this for cup 1, that whether correct or incorrect, I should hide, right? So if I did this now, let's just see this very quickly. This should be working, and in fact, this is almost at the end of it, because our game is pretty much ready now, right? So I didn't follow this time, but I got it correct. Even if I got it wrong, it will be fine, right? I mean, the game will work, right? Now, we want to get the third sprite. Very simple. Go and duplicate cup number 2. This time we did not duplicate cup number 1, because cup number 2 has already got the incorrect condition set up, and the same thing has to apply for cup number 3, which means all we have to change really is just its x position. So I'll say x of 120, 0, 120, 120, and then 120, 0. With this, believe it or not, your entire game is complete, and we can see this working right now. I will hide these variables so it's easier to sort of see this. If I hide these, right, I've got these things move around. I've got 3 cups, they are moving perfectly. The reason they're moving perfectly is because we got 1 cup in good order, and then we just duplicate the code, right? Duplication method is very powerful, as you know, right? If I click on this, looks like I got it wrong, right? So you can play this. Now, just to add a little bit of spice, I can add some background music to this. So I will, add this in the marble sprite. I'll just say, remember, the best way to add a background music is to just, do it basically like a separate forever loop. So I will add a backdrop music here. Essentially, I'll say forever. Inside a separate forever loop, just add the music that you want to play, right? So maybe I can add, let's say, a little bit long sound here, right? So I'll say loops, right? And I can say just say class. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can put anything, right? Yeah, so this is fine. And I can add, let's say, sound, play sound, classical piano until done, right? Now, the good thing is that when I do this, because the stop all will come, it will actually stop this as well, right? So that's why it's fine. So this thing stops, right? And so with this, the game is in fact complete, quite nice. Maybe so. With this, the point I want to tell you is that look in this game how we have used broadcasts to create a sequence of events, right? So after one thing happens after the other, then it happens after the other, and so on. See, pay attention also to where we have used broadcast and wait, which is basically in creating these shuffles. right? So we want the shuffle to get over, the move to get over before we create the next move, because remember the entire shuffle is essentially a sequence of moves. So we use broadcast and wait there. Number three, see the methodology that we followed, which is to complete the code for one guy as much as possible and then duplicate. That really helps you out in the way of approaching these problems. It helps you, gives you an opportunity to debug your code, and it keeps your code systematic. I hope you found this video useful and enjoyable. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.